Hello, 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 friends. Nicholas here with DIVO-Ted Talks, Devoted Talks, where we take ancient wisdom and practices through a modern lens and experience to help you and those you love in suffering in your personal and greater worlds alike. And my friends, I am in a really good place. I am in a really great spot. And, you know, I've been riding up and down for quite a while now, and I've probably talked about it more or less at different points in the last several months, even up to a year on the podcast where, I was really in the mire and the muck and the like really trying to find my way and, finding a lot of challenges at the same time. And so what I want to talk about is, life is cyclical. There are seasons, whether we understand them or not, as ascribed to our lives, and how that influences what we experience, right? So, yoga and Ayurveda is very, 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 very focused on Dinacharya, which is your day to day daily rhythms, right? And your daily rhythms will probably shift just a little bit depending on the seasons, but that anchor to stability helps these bigger and greater changes be a little bit more digestible, right? Because that's what Ayurveda is trying to do. Shout out to Ayurveda Digested, my podcast that I do with Bridge. You can find it on any of the podcast things that are your favorite. But that being said, Ayurveda is about this concept of digestion. We have to break things down into their component parts, make them match whatever part of the body they are going to, and then assimilate them as such. So I guess the assimilation process is the matching, but then utilizing them once they've been assimilated to be utilized and create that structure, whether it is your dhatus, which are your tissues, or your more energetic body type things. And so we want to always have a strong Dinacharya and a strong Ritucharya, which is your seasonal ones, right? And the season could be month to month, right? Each month brings with it its own unique characteristics, although sometimes in the greater cycles, they shift and change a little bit more, right? Like we had a more wintry winter this year, and we've had a variable springtime and a variable start to summer. So there's a lot of give and take that is influenced by the greater world patterns as well as the temperatures and the things that are just happening that I don't even understand yet, that we don't understand yet, but they all influence it, right? Like we're in greater cycles of the planets and the solar systems to which we are a part of, as well as the greater galaxy that we're a part of. Like we're all cycling around things. And so our position in the galaxy is influencing things that we don't really understand, right? We're all like, oh, climate change and oh, this. I'm like, what if our position in the greater galaxy, the Milky Way, and or in our relation to the greater spinning of all the galaxies in collective that we can't even grasp yet, is setting off energetics that are causing the stuff that's happening, whether it's people acting in a certain way, whether it's certain heating to the global world. I'm not saying climate change isn't real, but I'm saying I don't know that we know enough about it outside of it isn't sustainable what we're doing in the long run. I know for sure that this isn't sustainable, but there was holes in the ozone layer, and yet we don't talk about that anymore. So what does that mean, right? Why did that stop being talked about? Did we fix it? Did we get rid of the compounds that were actually causing it? Or was it something that was a natural fluctuation? For instance, the solar spots in the sun shift and change. There's solar flares at different times, and each of these phenomena has influences because it affects the gravitational pull and the radiation that's coming off of the sun as it comes towards the earth. And so these things can be influencing what's happening here. And so the reason I talked about all this is the season of my life to which I am the center of that universe. There are things shifting and changing that are greater than me that are influencing that and may be impacting my experience while I'm here, that may be impacting the complete energetics and the manifestation that's happening. What I start to see in the greater esoteric world and the metaphysical world is they're talking about these hacks to manifest things, and they work until they don't. And for some people it's bullshit, but other people it works perfectly. And so why? what is the difference? Is it just one person's better at manifesting? Are they attuned to it better? Or maybe they're in a cycle with the current transits of the planets and the solar system and the greater celestial movements that we don't even understand yet, setting up that fortune, setting up that energetic to be ready and primed to create, where a thought becomes a thing almost immediately. Do we have to perfect ourselves to get to that? Is being human actually a deficient state of being? Or is that just something we've ascribed to it because we don't like to suffer, right? Suffering is a choice in our existence here because we become attached to things here and don't have a balanced view of it. Like, death is so hard for us because we put so much weight on people being alive and being in our lives and our familiarity with our lives, right? We become so attuned to our life being a certain way that when it changes, and it will, and it does, and it will forevermore change, in that shift, we don't expect it to, or we don't want it to, and then we suffer. And so, the Buddha said that life is suffering, and I don't know if the Buddha actually said that. I'm not going to quote it, but the essence of some of the Buddhist teaching is that life is suffering. And so you must learn what is causing that suffering and then start to eliminate that from your life. I don't ascribe to Buddhism and it doesn't appeal to me, but I do believe it has truths within it that are worthwhile and worthy, because Ayurveda accepts Buddhism in a lot of its pieces within the Ayurveda as a greater zeitgeist. So, what does this all mean? Enjoy things when they are beautiful, when they are sunshiny. Just like if it's a beautiful day outside, you go outside and enjoy it, or you get work done around the house, or whatever you feel inspired to do. And whatever poor weather inspires you to do that. I have friends who are more productive on rainy days. That is not me. I think that's more of a pitta thing because it starts to give them some rebound in their resources, so they're more motivated to do stuff. I, on the other hand, am kapha type, and put me in a cloudy, rainy day, and I can't do jack. I can't do anything. It's just the way it affects me. But people oftentimes don't understand themselves, and they are only basing who they are based on their actions or related to their actions. And that, I don't know, is a fruitful way of viewing yourself, because if you are only your actions, then you have to prove your worth day in and day out. And while in society, we want to feel like we're a contributing member of society, who said that you have to do that? Like, I didn't ask to be born where I'm at, not from my physical mind as it exists now. Maybe on some karmic or spiritual level I did, but as of a human body right here, right now, I didn't go, I want to be here and I want to have to pay taxes and I want to have to do all this stuff. No, 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 no. I came to exist in that system. And why do I have to accept that system as mine? Why can't I go and make my own? And that is a strong question that people could benefit from asking. I don't know what the answer is, and I can't choose the right answer for you, but I can tell you that you are sovereign enough to make that determination on your own without the influence of anybody else, a society, a government, or a book, or a guru. Like, you can decide because you are the expert of you. You always have been and you always will be. And to think anything else than that is disempowerment. And my friends, you were not born to be disempowered. You were born to generate energy. You take things that have captured the sun's energy and then you transform it into consciousness expressing in the world, right? Consciousness exists independent of the body, but the body is the vehicle through which consciousness is interacting in this physical world for you to become more, to learn more, to expand and grow and evolve and enlighten. So my friends, I wish you the best highs and the most educational lows, because they're going to both happen. But can you walk out of both understanding that they are in their due time, they are in their right time, and that the bad isn't necessarily that bad and the good isn't necessarily that good? They can all be for your betterment, and they are if you know how to look at it. So can you shift that perspective and then be well and be free?